Good afternoon, and welcome to the Virginia Local Government Investment Webinar. This is part one of two presentations. I'm Greg Pagans, a registered representative with broker-dealer Multi-Bank Securities. The Virginia Association of Counties invited our assistants to create a brief survey course type presentation that would be both a suitable review for experienced investors and a helpful starting point for participants new to public funds investing. Part one includes information about multi-bank securities as a broker-dealer. It will highlight a few specific statutes and what they mean to public funds investors, provide a framework to develop or update an existing investment policy, and describe some examples of how multi-bank securities has helped Commonwealth local governments, special districts, and authorities. Part two will include a brief recap of this presentation with a focus for public funds investing in highest quality fixed income securities. And it will introduce the Multi-Bank Securities Institute along with the Public Funds Investor Guide. Multi-Bank Securities is based in Southfield, Michigan, and has had a Florida office since 1995. We're a member of the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority since 1987. We are also members of the Securities Investor Protection Corporation, and we're registered with the Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board. Our concentration is on institutional fixed income. Currently, we work with more than 5,000 accounts nationwide. We are an approved underwriter for debentures, not mortgage-backed securities, for the Federal National Mortgage Association, Fannie Mae, the Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation, Freddie Mac, the Federal Agricultural Mortgage Corporation, Farmer Mac, and the Federal Home Loan Bank System, FHLB. Additionally, we're a significant underwriter of FDIC-insured and NCUA-insured certificates of deposit and share certificates. Multi-Bank Securities Incorporated is the exclusive provider of eConnect Direct, the online investment platform for governmental and institutional investors. We were chosen by the National Association of Counties in 2014 and have affiliated with NACO since then. Additionally, the Virginia Association of Counties endorsed multi-bank securities in 2015 and has since become a client as well. The National Association of County Collectors, Treasurers, and Finance Officers, NACTFO, supports the NACO endorsement made in 2015. Additionally, we're a certified veteran-owned business, and we administer the Public Funds Investor Guide available to clients free of charge through the MBS Institute. Many considerations come into play when creating or updating an investment policy. State statutes provide direction and restrictions. Some potential local restrictions come into play as well. For example, housing and redevelopment authorities are usually subject to state and local regulations along with Department of Housing and Urban Development guidelines as well. Additional local considerations might be political. The viewpoints of elected and constitutional officers are obviously important. What kind of skills and what kind of staff are in place? What kind of budget? What kind of financial resources? If there's no reserves, then someone may not be able to invest for term investments. If utilities are owned by the municipality, there are likely reserves needed for maintenance and upkeep. Those could benefit through investing. Likewise, you need the support of the elected officials and management. Slide 6 refers to the Code of Virginia, Section 2.2, Chapter 4500. A note on these slides is that many of these are for reference and education. What we're going to do is cover some salient points quickly. For example, in Section 202, Chapters 4501 refer to legal investments, 4502 to commercial paper, 4505 Treasury certificates, Chapter 4514 Standards of Care, Chapter 4518 Investments of Funds in Deposits, and then Section 2.2, Chapter 4400 further describes deposits with the Virginia Securities for Public Deposits Act, and specifically refers to CDARS, the Certificate of Deposit Account Registry Service. First focus is Chapter 4514, the Standard of Care. Emphases in this section include, quote, held in trust, quote, made solely in the interest of the citizens, and, quote, investments that a prudent person acting in a like capacity would use. This standard of care can be illustrated with a straightforward acronym. The prudent person rule refers to limiting investments to what a prudent person seeking reasonable income and preservation of capital, not for speculation, might use. The acronym SLY, safety, liquidity, and yield, is an excellent reminder. And notice the order, the importance of safety first, then liquidity and yield. For example, a public funds investor likely would not find a 20-year maturity Ford Motor Company Baa2 rated bond a suitable investment for municipal funds. It is non-investment grade and considered speculative. These remarks refer to slides 9, 10, 11, and 12. Section 2.2, Chapter 4501 refers to legal investments for other public funds. Again, I'm not going to read these slides for the attendees. These are for reference and education, and we'll cover some high points quickly. First of all, they refer to Commonwealth of Virginia bonds and debt. Second, they refer to United States bonds, debt, repos, and mutual funds with specific qualifiers. A brief note here regarding direct obligations of the United States government. There are only two obligations considered direct of the United States government. First is U.S. Treasury bills, notes, and bonds, and other items are Ginnie Mae, the Government National Mortgage Association, Securities, because it's owned by the Department of Housing and Urban Development. 3 describes various state municipal bonds, again, with qualifiers. Number 4 on slide 10 describes Commonwealth municipal bonds with qualifiers of individual offerings and issuers. Number 5, other municipal bonds with qualifiers. On slide 12, we'll see IBRD, the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, also known as the World Bank, along with Asian Development Bank and African Development Bank bonds. Slide 13 refers to Section 2.2, Chapter 4502, and prime quality commercial paper. 270 days is the maximum maturity for commercial paper. Prime quality refers to the highest ratings of that paper. S&P, for example, A1, Moody's P1, and Fitch F1. There are other qualifiers regarding the issuer's net worth, income, and ratings. Please note that there are specific percentages referred to for overall investor portfolio amounts and issuer holdings to help alleviate concentration risk. Slide 14 refers to zero coupon U.S. Treasury securities. That's Section 2.24505. Zero coupon U.S. Treasury securities have no stated coupon or interest payment. They are bought at a dollar price discounted to mature at 100 cents on the dollar, or par, and they are also known as accrual bonds. To reiterate, we're focused on bonds guaranteed by the U.S. government, guaranteed by the Commonwealth of Virginia and other states, high-quality Commonwealth entities, issuers, and other municipalities, certain foreign development agencies, the highest quality commercial paper, and certificates of participation in U.S. Treasury securities. Slide 16, Section 2.2, Chapter 4401, specifically shows definitions. It delineates public deposits, and again you'll see the emphasis is on security for such deposits required by other provisions of law. This statute also refers to and determines qualified public depositories. Section 2.2, Chapter 4518 refers to investments and deposits, and it describes the Certificate of Deposit Account Registry Service. You'll notice again the emphasis in number 3, that the principal and the accrued interest must be fully federally insured. 2.2, Chapter 4401, for definitions, talks about certificates of deposits in qualified public depositories. Any amounts beyond the federal insurance limit of $250,000 must be collateralized by the depository. The depository places securities as collateral that meet Virginia Treasury Board requirements with a qualified escrow agent, also known as a third-party trustee. Additionally, 4518 refers to investments of funds in deposits. The good news, shown on slide 19, refers to Chapter 4516 and the liability of treasurers or public depositors. The law indemnifies individuals when statutes are followed. Regarding an investment policy, a well-crafted policy can provide latitude for finance directors and treasurers to invest public funds, always keeping in mind the parameters SLY, safety, liquidity, and yield. Again, focused on safety. People often quote both Will Rogers and Mark Twain with the phrase, "I'm not worried about the return on my money, rather I'm worried about the return of my money." When it comes to investment of public funds, specifics within the policy, there should be internal controls and standards of care that state explicitly who is allowed to make those decisions and who is allowed to transact on behalf of the entity. There will often be remarks concerning delegation of authority and even redundancy in position, documentation and proper administration, standardized parameters, with priorities always being safety, liquidity, and yield. There are authorized investments within the policy, and usually the policy will specifically determine who is allowed to choose and buy investments, almost always in terms of competitive transactions. Additionally, you have reporting and disclosure. Many entities choose to have a timely set review for their investments, whether quarterly or annually. Choosing service providers is an important part of investing public funds. Check out the regulatory history. Find out regarding qualified public depository relationships who might offer a third-party trustee or custody or safekeeping account. Find out about the fees that are involved. See if this is cost-effective, and if your existing relationship might offer a no-fee custody account. Slide 22 talks about the development or the review or update of the existing policy. Check references. Make sure that Service providers are familiar with applicable statutes. Ask peers. Find out what they do. Network and see how they handle public funds investing. Lastly, the Governmental Finance Officers Association nationally has model policies that are available and can be used as examples. There's a new resource, the MBS Institute, that provides the Public Funds Investor Guide with a specific policy section. That's a free resource to our customers at Multi-Bank Securities. We work with hundreds of municipal clients across the country. And here we have comments from 3 of our Commonwealth of Virginia relationships currently regarding the eConnect Direct investment platform. The executive director for VACO, Dean Lynch, refers to it as simple and easy. Another current Virginia County client talks about how the eConnect Direct platform assists in portfolio management, allows them to view account activity, and allows them to easily access needed documents, including trade confirmations and statements, allows them to see and buy FDIC-insured CDs safely. A current Virginia Housing Authority client quotes how the eConnect Direct platform helps to reduce worry, maintain focus on their other responsibilities, provides easy access, just a mouse click away, and gives them clear and user-friendly and efficient platform for their investments. I wanted to emphasize in the last few minutes of this presentation today some other resources and have included them at the end of the webinar. First of all, most securities are going to be priced off of U.S. Treasuries. There is a Wall Street Journal online page available on the web. You'll see the link there. And seeing as how benchmarks like Treasuries affect other prices, this ought to be a helpful resource for current U.S. Treasury yields. Additionally, the U.S. Treasury web page, the SIFMA, Securities Industry and Financial Markets Association page, is an excellent source of educational and reference material. The Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System for the Federal Reserve page. Further information can be found out about FOMC schedules and meetings. Slide 28 refers to some news and market information that public funds investors may find helpful and informative. The Real Clear Markets page is a news aggregator. It's updated twice a day. Further information regarding bond pricing and historical interest rates can be found at the FINRA Market Data page. Business Insider is also a news aggregator and updates frequently throughout the day. Lastly, Zero Hedge is a news aggregator which updates constantly and has a contrarian take on much market information. Bibliography for much of the information contained in this presentation came from Investopedia.com online, the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis FRED page. It's a great source of economic research and data. Again, the SIFMA page, which provides for more continuing education, and the 2016 Virginia Statutes page, from where we obtained the information quoted, shown in earlier slides. Lastly, by way of disclaimer, we need to emphasize that Multi-Bank Securities is a broker-dealer. We are not an advisor, and we do not offer regulatory nor audit advice. The firm's CRD number is 22098. I'm your presenter today, Greg Pagans. In June of this year, I'll complete 31 years in the industry. I hold multiple licenses, including the Series 7 General Securities and Series 24 Principals license. We appreciate your time and attention today. Please contact your Multi-Bank Securities representative for further information. Wish you a great start on the new calendar year, and thank you very much.